Hello,
Hello,
Shubh. How are you, brother?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking, yeah, brother. Shubh, I have been following you from quite some time from my personal account, and I like your content a lot. And
Thank
I am
you.
following you since you had 900 followers. I knew that you'll grow, and now you have grown. Kuch time so you are not making much content. Maybe you were shifting or something. I saw your stories. So
Yeah.
for the people who don't know you, can you introduce yourself to them?
Hi, I'm Shubh. I do triathlons, particularly the Ironman, and uh,
I'm sorry.
I make videos on health.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
And yeah, I make videos on health. You can like check out my profile. You'll see I make videos on basically how to lose weight, how to get healthier, but in a no bullshit manner. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. So you have done some of the certifications, but you don't coach people, I guess, for now. You just did them for yourself, right?
So more or less, yes. My idea was of getting the
Hmm.
certifications done was
Hmm.
because I didn't trust any of the trainers around me, and the ones who I trusted were too expensive.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
true.
just thought you might as well coach yourself. The certification
Yeah,
was cheaper than the trainers. So I
yeah,
coached
yeah.
myself, and now I just in a year take 2, 3 people maximum, and that's
Okay.
all.
Okay. So you train people for triathlons and marathons, or you train people for weight loss and muscle gain and
Both,
all those things?
both.
Both. That's very good. So, Shubh, when did you start doing these marathons and triathlons? When do you start?
So
Can
the
you
first
remember?
time I went for a run was because my dad dragged me. I was 15 years old, and my
Okay.
dad just dragged me like, "आज कुछ भी हो जाए, भागना पड़ेगा." And
Yeah.
I went with him. And the first time I ran, I actually lied down on the road because I was feeling sick. I didn't know
Okay.
क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, and I just felt pukish. I lied down.
Uh-huh.
उसके बाद I slowly and steadily built up, and उसके around 3 years ago I started getting into triathlons, and उसके
Very
बाद
good.
Ironman किया, and yeah.
Okay, so how was your first experience with marathons? Was it very painful for you after you get back? Did you complete the marathon? And if you did, what happened after that for the next few
So
days?
I did completed my first not marathon but triathlons. I haven't done a
Okay.
marathon, but two
Okay.
triathlons.
Okay.
So triathlon first one I complete kiya, but
Hmm.
it was terrible because I had 3 months of preparation. That was a
Okay.
very stupid thing. I never suggest anyone to do it, but in 3 months
Okay.
preparation somehow pulled it off,
Okay. Very
and
good. Very good.
luckily injury nahi ho gaya. But finishing it wasn't that difficult,
Okay.
but after finish that experience was terrible because I wasn't prepared. So हो
Okay.
गया, but मजा नहीं आया. दूसरे बारे में बहुत मजा आया.
Okay. So, were you fond of running triathlons, or were you didn't enjoy it? You just went there for your father, and after you ran, you fell in love with it. How was it like?
So I never really enjoyed triathlons or running or
Okay.
all of this too much. It was literally when I decided that I have to do something very difficult, like very, very
Okay.
difficult. And the most
Uh-huh.
difficult thing I at that time knew क्या मिलेगा सबसे difficult was Ironman. So I'm like,
Okay.
let's do Ironman. But that was 3 months later.
Okay.
So in November, sometime I registered for it, and I'm like, Feb May, I have to do an Ironman. So I wasn't in love with it. I just forced myself, I have to do it, and I just did it.
Okay. For the people who don't know about Ironman, can you explain them that what kind of a triathlon it is, how many kilometers you have to run, how much you have to cycle, how much you have to swim?
So Ironman with that two different Ironmans. One of them is the 70.3, which is also called half Ironman. That's the one
Hmm.
I currently do. And then there's the full Ironman. Half Ironman mein you swim 1.9 kilometers. That's around 36, 37 laps of the pool
Hmm.
and Olympic pool, followed by
Hmm.
90 kilometers of cycling and then 21 kilometers of running, all in one
Oh.
go. That's
Oh.
the half Ironman. Iska double is full Ironman, which I'll be
Uh,
doing from next year.
okay. So how much time does it usually take a person to complete it? A full day?
7 to 8.5 hours. Eight and a
Seven to
half hours
eight.
का cut off है. 8.5 hours के बाद even if you finish doesn't matter. But
Okay.
7 to 8.5 hours, yeah.
Okay. So you have completed it completed it in 7.5 hours or 7 hours. What is your best
And
time till now?
first one I did in 8 hours.
Okay.
No,
Very
not
good.
8 hours, 7.5 hours. And the second one I was sub 7 hours. Exact time was some 6 hours 50 something minutes.
Awesome, brother. I can't even think of doing this in the whole day. Maybe I'll take 2, 3 days to do this. That's awesome. So, how did you start your journey into running or cycling? how did you first start it going into it? Matlab, did you play any sports? How did you start?
So I used to be like a really fat kid, but I used to enjoy playing basketball.
Okay.
And
Very good.
that was around the time I was around 15 that time, and my dad took me for running. So from 15, I did running on and off for 3 4 years, and then last 2.5 3 years only I've been like very serious about it. तो उससे
Okay.
पहले आई यूज्ड टू कभी डैड के साथ भाग लो, कभी कोई ग्रुप मिल रहा है फ्रेंड्स के साथ जैसे कभी भी भाग लो. बट वो लाइक नो स्ट्रक्चर नथिंग एब्सोल्युटली नथिंग. जब भी मन करता है उस वक्त भागो, जब भी नहीं करता मत करो.
Okay.
तो मैं कुछ हुआ नहीं, मतलब दिस वाज सो फन आई यूज्ड टू डू इट.
Okay. So you say that you were a fat kid, so you started running. So initially जब आपने start किया होगा, it would have been very difficult for you because you must be feeling some knee pains, some joint pains. Also, the stamina must be not that much good as you have right now. So how did you start building in stamina? Because I get a lot of questions like this, right? I run for a few kilometers, then I'm not able to do it. How does a person starts building stamina? कैसे he starts running and increases his running distance without getting fatigued or without puking or whatever people do, right?
So
How do we do it?
So the first thing which everyone gets wrong, including me, that's why it took 4 years, इसमें कोई progress नहीं हुआ, is that we try going fast. वो
Yeah.
that's the worst thing you can do, because in a long distance event, what you have to focus on is the distance and distance, and then forget about the time. Even if you take like 2 hours to run, 3 hours to run a short distance, it's completely fine. वैसे करके you will build what's called the base aerobic fitness.
Okay.
Once you have built that, उसके ऊपर you can build speed. Why people feel pukish, why people get pains, why people have all of that, I'm out of breath, is because वो लगता है running का मतलब है भागना है. But if you see a lot of runners on the road, they're not running fast, they're running very slow and very comfortably.
Yeah.
So it's more like slow jog, slightly fast jog, and after 5 6 years of doing that, you'll be properly running. So whatever you feel pukish, chances are you're pushing yourself too much, matlab you're running too fast. If you have pains, chances are again the same thing. So normally just slow down a lot, and then you can easily build up your the distance you run, and you won't feel pukish, you won't feel tired.
Okay. So how much practice did you do in the beginning? If I am a beginner and I want to build stamina, I want to run, I want to get better at running, how much time do you think I should give to running, and how should I progress in it day by day?
So starting में you go and run as much as you can. जिसमें you can आराम से talk to someone while running. So run so slowly that you can have a conversation when you're running with the person.
Okay.
उसमें run how much ever you're comfortable with. Forget about the different.
That is
Forget
our
about
talk test. That is our talk
yeah,
test, right? That we
pretty
talk.
much yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can't hold the conversation, matlab you're running too fast, slow down.
Okay.
For some people, this will also mean just walking, and that's also completely fine.
Okay.
उसके बाद after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing this, eventually start tracking कि मैं कितना भाग रहा हूँ. This week I ran, for example, 20 kilometers. Next week you increase that by 5%.
Okay, very good.
उसके बाद so approximately 2.5 kilometers increase करो. That more than 5, but yeah, increase 1 2 kilometers, and then next week again increase by around 5%. So again increase like 1.5 2 kilometers, and वैसे धीरे धीरे keep increasing it by around 5 to 10% every week.
Okay. So basically the target is to run every day, or we need to run say alternate days or 5 6 days a week, or
That's as often as you can. As often as you can.
Depending upon the time is what we have to do.
Yeah.
So basically the people who are just started who have just started running, वो क्या कर सकते हैं? First of all, check that how much they can run, the intensity at which they have to run. They have to see कि they are talking and at the same time they are able to run. बहुत ज़्यादा तेज नहीं दौड़ना है, else they will be tired too soon and they will feel pukish and fatigued and they'll go home. So run slow, see how much distance can you run, and over time try to improve it by 5 to 10% every week. This is what Shubh is saying. Okay.
Correct.
So the second thing I wanted to ask you is, because you are a long distance runner, right? There is a difference between a long distance runner and a person who is running say 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, 1600 meters. So what is the difference between both of them? What is the difference in terms of training between both of them? How do you train and how should those people train? Can you elaborate? Do you have any knowledge on this subject?
So the biggest difference happens, both of them, a sprinter and a long distance runner, both of them have to do long runs and both of them have to do short and fast runs. The
Yeah.
difference becomes key how much the sprinter focuses on sprinting
Mhm.
and how much a long
Mhm.
distance runner focuses on long distance. That's
Mhm.
the biggest difference in the training.
Mhm.
So a long distance runner may 80% of the training is going to be just slow long runs and 20% will be short but really fast runs.
Mhm.
Sprinting में वो थोड़ा change होके they can follow 50-50, 60-40, that depends on the sprinter really. That's the
Mhm.
biggest difference. Second, they focus a lot on strength. Like they have to be very strong to run that fast.
Mhm.
And endurance runners don't focus on strength that much. You don't
Mhm.
need to focus on it. So if you see sprinters, they will be lifting very heavy weights very often. They'll be focusing on strength a lot more than any endurance runner will. वो सबसे बड़ा difference है.
So basically, you are a person who runs long distances and into these kind of activities, but you also do strength training. So how do you divide your workout regime for the see basically the workout regime should be made according to the person, their requirements, right? If a person
Yeah.
wants to improve their endurance, their stamina, they want to improve their flexibility, the training regime may be different and division of training might be different, right? For a person like you who runs Ironman and you'll be running next year also, as I know. So how is your workout regime like? How many days you do strength training or how much time do you do strength training?
So right now I'm not in my Ironman training cycle. So
Okay.
my Ironman training has taken a backseat. So thrice a week right now I do strength training in the gym. Thrice a week I do running or cycling.
Okay.
Once I'm in my Ironman ka training, that time it will be like 6 days a week will be Ironman training and one day a week will be strength training. Because my like normally kya hoega, you have to go for one long ride, cycle ride, one long run, one fast run, one short run. You have to swim at least twice a week. So 6-7 workouts तो उसके खत्म हो गए every week. So उसके बाद whatever time you get उसमें you just do strength training so that you don't get injured. So that balance is very difficult. But Ironman training के वक्त तो there'll be days when you have to work out twice a day. Morning में you go for a run, evening में you have to go to the gym. ऐसा हो जाता है.
Okay, that's too much of a workout, right?
It's
And
a lot of training.
what is your nutrition like? How do you prepare your nutrition? How do you plan your nutrition? Is your nutrition different from a from person? How is your nutrition different from a normal person? Do you eat something, some superfoods or something special?
Uh, Definitely not. So every day I actually post what I eat. I got a lot of requests to do that in the
Yeah.
beginning, like 4 months ago. So every day I post what I eat,
See,
and
I
it's
like one thing. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you here. I like one thing. You eat chai and rusk, and I love it, right? I love it. You eat khakra a lot, and I love it. See, basically, this is the kind of food that normal people eat, and we eat the same things, right? There is nothing special that we need to eat, but we need to understand our requirements. That's how it is. So yeah,
yeah.
continue. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so mainly compared to a normal person, my protein requirement is much higher. So I try to average around 2 grams per kilo of my body weight. So around 150 grams of protein I try eating every day.
Very good. Very good.
And that's the biggest difference. Other than that, my diet is pretty much घर पे सब्जी दाल जो बनता है, I eat that.
Mhm.
And the normal food what every other person eats.
Mhm.
Chai toast I eat every single day. Ice cream I try eating every single night because I
Yeah.
love ice cream. So I don't
Yeah.
try doing something crazy. I try
Right.
keeping it जितना simple हो सकता है. Just one thing I keep in mind, mainly is my protein is on point and iron man के वक्त my carbs have to be on point. So when I
Okay.
eat carbs, how much I eat, वो I take more care of. What I eat does not change, just कि I am very particular कि ये खाना है मतलब आज कुछ भी हो जाए I'll have to eat this.
So, do you take care of the calories that you are eating every day? You might be keeping a track of carbohydrates and calories before the training, maybe the peak week of your training, or maybe for 2-3 weeks before it. Do you count your calories? Do you ever count your calories?
So last 3 months I've been on a weight loss journey where I've lost around 10 kilos. So
Very
in
good.
this much time I have been counting calories, not count, I have been counting calories practically every day since 3 months. But that's because I'm trying to lose weight. During Ironman, calories take a complete backseat. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कितना calories खा रहे हो. Because if you have to work out around 10 to 14 hours a week, उसमें calories में कोई problem नहीं होता है. Calories जितना खाना है खाओ, eat more, eat as much as you can. But calorie counting during Ironman, nahi, but when I have to change how my body is for the Ironman. So right before the Ironman, sometimes you do a cut so that you don't have to carry that much weight for 8 hours. So that time I may count my calories. Ki, chalo, let's lose 2 kilos jaldi se, so I don't have to carry that much weight doing on the cycle while running. But that calories count नहीं होता. Ironman के लिए तो नहीं होता.
So, from here, I'll ask you a question. that what weight do you think you need to keep if you want to run a long distance race, and why keeping a lower weight is important for a long distance race?
So the thing is, when you're doing any long distance, वो normally 1 घंटा 2 घंटा in Ironman 8 hours तक चलेगा. So the lower weight you can carry with yourself on for the entire event, the better for you. But इसमें ऐसा भी है that weight is not like a requirement. My first Ironman, I was like 85 kilos. I was huge that time because I didn't try to cut my weight down for the first one. As I told, my first one wasn't the prepared one. So that time I didn't focus on the weight. Second one I was slightly lighter. This time since I want to actually go for speed because I think I'm now capable of doing speed, weight will matter. But if you're doing it for the first time, so weight bhul jao, just focus on bhagna hai and how much I have to run and eat as much as you need to recover from that. So weight, it's better if you're lighter, but that's not an entry. That's not a thing you need to do. It's an optional thing, like a late option.
So how much how much carbohydrates do you intake, because you are into long distance running, triathlons? So how much carbohydrates do you intake before your triathlon, before Ironman? How much carbohydrates on an average for a day before a month? How much?
It can range from 400 to 600 grams.
400. Yeah, that's what
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, that is what the difference between a trainee like you, who actually needs to be active for long distances for long period of time. You need to consume more carbohydrates, and some people think that carbohydrates make you fat. This guy is eating 400 to 600 grams of carbohydrates per day for I don't know, for a month or more. But see, look at him. He is not fat. He is not fat at all. He is fit. He is lean. He has good stamina. Okay. So now I know a lot about you, right? Your training, your diet, and all these things. But is Shubh is just a triathlon runner, or does he do something else also?
So,
or content creator, triathlon runner, and what?
I'm actually in college right now. I'm in my 4th year, my final year. I'm studying design. Okay. So I love making videos. Like I just love videos. I'm trying to specialize in video and motion graphics. So that's one different part of my life that is there.
That's why you set up you have a setup, you have a whole setup, you have a mic and everything. You have actually set up pretty well. So how, now my next question would be related to that. You are a student, you are a content creator. At the same time, you prepare for triathlons, take care of everything, your training and everything. How do you manage your time? Where people say they don't have time. How do you manage your time?
Good question. So one of the things I did to do this was I had to start waking up at 4:30 every year. So I wake up at 4:30 every morning, and that one thing, and plus sleeping at 9:30, I sleep at 9:30. So this one thing made sure that normally क्या होता है, रात को I used to waste a lot of time. So I stopped. रात का time waste खत्म हो गया. Morning में उठ के now I have to do my Ironman training, and then उसमें just eventually, slowly and steadily, I tried removing all the time wasting of my life. Whatever I used to do to waste time, I started very like it took me 2-3 years to get used to it. But after 1-2-3 years of slowly and steadily removing all the things that waste time, I managed to now do what I'm doing.
Okay.
So nothing special, just very slowly I tried doing it.
How did you start? So basically, you are right. See, if we schedule our day, if we write down in a piece of paper that what we do from waking up to sleeping throughout the day, if we keep on writing it, we'll find a lot of hours that we are wasting, right? So how did you start? Did you write it down, or did you start observing that thing that, yeah, I'm wasting my time here, I'm wasting my time here, I can utilize it there?
It didn't happen that way. It happened that I just took one goal at a time. My first goal was that I have to start waking up at 4:30. Now do whatever I have to do to wake up at 4:30. So once that got set, the second thing became that I have to go to the gym 4 times a week. So nothing doing, I started going to the gym. And I started adding more habits to my life. I didn't remove like the bad habits per se. I started adding better habits. And most importantly, stuff I love doing. So I used to love exercising after the first few years of exercising. I loved it. So I wanted to exercise. So by 4:30 उठ के भी बहुत मजा आने लग गया because everyone's sleeping. I can get a lot of whatever work that I want.
So basically, from this I remember a thing it was said to me by my teacher, by my karate teacher. I used to do karate when I was in school. So he told me that if you have a glass full of say dirty water, right? One way to basically empty it is by just by just throwing that dirty water, right? One way of actually making it right is by filling it with more of clean water, and over time that whole glass will contain just clean water. So that's what you did actually. I
Yeah.
just remember that you
Sort of,
started
yeah.
building right habits, you started building positive habits, and that ended up that your schedule is now full of some productive habits rather than things that you wasted time on. So yeah,
Pretty.
that's how it went. So now my next question would be the general question that people ask. So you run a lot, you are into running, cycling, swimming, and all those things. So do you think people should use this as a tool, or people should use just cardio to lose weight? And if yes, then how much? If no, then what? How should they make their routine? Because you have lost 10 kgs in last 3 months. What did you do different from people? What people do when they go to the gym, they do a cardio for an hour and they come back.
Hmm.
What mistake do they do?
So I wouldn't suggest people to use only cardio for weight loss. That's a stupid thing to do. I do so much cardio because I do Ironman. It's
Yeah.
not that I do cardio because I want to do the cardio. It's my event requires me to do it. What I always tell people all the time in all the videos I make is key to lose weight, calorie deficit. That's all. And
Yeah.
to show how effective it is, I actually showed my diet every day.
Yeah. Yeah. You did.
I'm eating simple food. All I'm doing is I'm in a deficit. So
Yeah.
every day over deficit, I used to put my weight alongside.
Yeah.
Every other week, I'm losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And how someone should lose weight, first, definitely deficit. That's the first step. Once you are successfully in that, make sure your protein, carbs, and fats are on point because that
Mm-hmm.
matters a lot. I say
Yes.
calorie deficit, but because that's a simple thing to to explain to people. उसके
Mm-hmm.
बाद once you have done that, you make sure your protein, carbs, and fat intake is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And साथ में start exercising as much as you can. Exercise में क्या करना है? जो भी करना है, कर लो, मजे करो. But just
Mm-hmm.
exercise.
Mm-hmm.
उसमें now if you enjoy running, then run. If you enjoy weightlifting, then lift weights. Do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what are the ratios that you would suggest people for protein, carbohydrates, and your fats, dietary fats?
Ratio में I would say uh, for protein, depending on how much you work out, 1 gram per kilo body weight. So if you weigh 80 kilos, then take 80 grams of protein, or you can take slightly more than that, 80 to 90 or 80 to 100 grams भी चलेगा.
Mm-hmm.
उसके बाद around 2.5 to 3 grams of carbs. So if you're 100 kilos, then have 200 grams of carbs.
Mm-hmm.
And the remaining calories में जितना fat बाकी है उसमें fat डाल दो.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
fat is not that important when it comes to the weight loss part. Your protein matters more, your carbs matters a little less but a lot, and then third is your fat. So distribute it that way.
Okay. So you are also doing weight training currently. You do weight training. So what is the importance of that with when you are doing weight loss? What do you think is the importance of that? Is it important to do weight training? Because a lot of people don't want to do weight training. They are like, I can't do it. What's the importance of that?
So I find it really, really important. I think you need to do weight training as much as you can because I think of all this like in a very long term. Ki, like next 10 years, मेरे को क्या goal achieve करना है. So in 10 years, I want to make sure that my body is functioning very well. So उसके लिए and when I grow old, the first thing you lose is your muscle. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm trying to strengthen my body from now itself.
Very good.
So weight training is important because first injury nahi hoega, you will be able to live your actual life much more easily. If you like inevitably in your life you have to lift some weights.
Mm-hmm.
Grocery shopping का bag उठाना पड़ता है. कुछ ना कुछ weight तो lift करना पड़ता है.
Yeah.
So doing strength training will make your entire life simpler that way.
Mm-hmm.
So strength training is very important. And do you need it to lose weight? No, you don't. Should you do it to lose weight? Yes, you should. It's always suggested to do it. But अगर नहीं करना, if you hate doing it, then it's fine if you don't.
Okay. Okay. So basically, Shubh is someone who runs for long distances, is actually an endurance athlete, I can say. But he still does strength training because it is important. And as he said, after a certain age, you will start losing weight. The condition is called sarcopenia. We have studied about it. So basically try to do weight training at least 2-3 days a week. Try to train all your major muscles, because if you lose muscles, you lose strength, your posture actually gets affected by it, and you'll not like yourself in a bad posture, rounded shoulders, or a condition like that. So even if you hate doing weight training, try to do it 2 to 3 days a week if possible, half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever kind of weight training is possible for you. Resistance band or weights or body weight resistance training, everything is fine. Okay. So now there is a very common question that people ask me, and I know it seems like that it is not the right question to ask. Do you think running can help you build muscle?
You went off for a second. Can you repeat that?
Okay. So people ask me that, sir, I am running and I want to build muscle. So how should I run that I should build muscle? Is it possible to run and build muscle?
It actually is. So when you do a lot of sprinting, that's why you see sprinters are very jacked all the time.
Yeah.
Sprinting where you do gain muscle, but then as I said earlier, that if you only sprint or if you focus on sprinting, then you will be very tired and you'll injure yourself. So you can build muscle while sprinting, but they also do a lot of weight training. So if you are someone who wants to मेरे को भागना भी है पर मेरे को muscle नहीं use करना, मेरे को muscle बढ़ाना है, then go to the gym as much as you can, run as much as you can. You have to do double the work now.
Okay. So slow running will not, slow or medium intensity running won't lead to muscle gains. Is that so?
Yeah, it won't.
Okay. So now you do various kind of cardio, various kind of exercise, right? You do running, you do cycling, you do swimming. If a person just have time for one, what would you recommend them and why?
Swimming, because swimming is like the best exercise you can do for your body. Usme cardio, there's a lot of cardio that happens. It's a full body exercise where every single muscle works. And swimming for long-term health, I think, should be the best.
Okay.
For someone who has to choose only one. Personally, I would say cycling because I love cycling the most. But health perspective says swimming.
Swimming is what you will recommend them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Shubh. So basically, I am out of questions almost, but the last question that I have for you, then I think we'll take a few questions from the chat. So the question is that, Shubh, if a person wants to run half Ironman, full Ironman, or marathons, and he's new to this, right? He doesn't know anything. What to do, how to do, he doesn't know anything. How should he start? What is the first step you would suggest them, and how would you ask them to go forward? Because now, see, when you started, as you said, you didn't like it much. You did it because of various reasons, and now you actually like it and you want to participate every year. So how to start and how to improve on it?
First thing you have to do, Ironman with a sad truth, but the first thing you have to do is budget it out, because an Ironman can get really, really, really expensive. I found that out the very hard way. I had paid for half of the things and I had no choice but to pay for everything else now.
Yeah.
So the first thing would be budget it out. Understand that it's going to cost so much. If you can go ahead now, then do it. Second, start running, start swimming, start cycling as often as you can, and धीरे increase your, as I said, 5% a week. Try increasing your mileage for all 5% a week. And eventually in 2, 3, 4, 6 months, depending on where you start from, you will now be at a place where you can attempt an Ironman. It's a difficult event, but the event is not difficult. The training is really, really difficult. Actually, once you have been training for 3, 4 months properly, then you will understand that it's not that difficult if you think about it. Because so many thousands of people run marathons every year.
Yeah.
Mumbai Marathon only, you see like thousands of people run.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So it is different than the 3 sports, but it is also key. If so many people and such old people can also comfortably finish a marathon, then Ironman is not that much different from a marathon, for example. So budget karke, just do the same thing as a marathon. Every week 5% increase your mileage. Eventually you will realize that within 6 months to 1 year, you're already at the mileage of the Ironman. Okay.
Would you recommend them joining any groups, following any of your favorite people, or of course they should follow you, follow Shubh. Shubh is the person that will answer your queries. He has some kind of an IGTV sessions where he answers all your questions. But do you recommend them joining any groups, following any people who can guide them in a particular way of running marathons or running these kinds of things? Would you recommend them some of this?
So YouTube पे the biggest one, it's called GTN, Global Triathlon Network.
Okay.
They give a lot of the knowledge I got about triathlons was also from them. And second, there's one more guy called Triathlon Taran. He also makes a lot of triathlon only videos. So if you ever have any questions about how to run, how to do anything for triathlon particularly, these two channels will answer every question. They have like hundreds and hundreds of videos on all this. So I also use them extensively to understand how a triathlon happens.
Okay. For the people who are thinking of running triathlons in future or are in the process of running a triathlon, trying to improve themselves with marathons and triathlons, do follow these people, do follow Shubh. So Shubh, let's see if there are any questions that you can answer for these people. So Shubh, one question that they ask every which I can see here is, do you take any kind of supplements, Shubh?
So I take a lot of protein. Like I take 2 to 4 scoops of protein a day on an average.
Okay.
साथ में occasionally I take B complex. I take vitamin C, vitamin E. That's usually because I don't get enough from my diet very easily at least. And those are the things I take regularly. Uske upar I don't take much supplements. I don't need to take it. Like if I had to, whenever I have to take it, I end up taking it. But currently I don't.
So are there any running supplements available? Some electrolytes or something that you intake?
So electrolytes you can take. So if you're a runner, you should be taking electrolytes. That is a supplement. Yeah, so that's one thing I miss. So electrolytes, for example, sports drinks, Red Bull, Gatorade, all of these will come under sports drinks. You can definitely have all of that. Red Bull, the problem is only that it's fizzy, so you can't drink a fizzy drink while running. So that's why you take Gatorade or Fasten Up. They have many tablets, electrolyte tablets. So you will be fine with any of them.
Okay. So the other question is how do you feel while running? Some people say that it actually helps you improve your mood. If somebody has some kind of mental stress, it actually helps with that. There are a lot of things that people say about running, which are aspects which improve your mood. So would you like to add something to this? How does it improve your mood or improve your mental state?
So depending on where I am in my triathlon training cycle, either the runs are absolutely horrible and I hate every minute of it, or it is the exact opposite that I love it because now running is happening in the background and it becomes meditating. Like it's almost like you're meditating when you're running. But that usually happens for 3 to 4 months before your Ironman, where you are really fit. No, entire year you don't stay that fit. You can't stay that fit. So right before the Ironman, when you're really fit, when you've been running a lot, that is when it becomes meditation. Like you're running autopilot and you're just alone with your mind. So that time I love it. That time all what you say the runner's high, that comes, but that takes some time to come. So you पहली बार भाग के runner's high नहीं मिलता. वो 3-4-5 महीने भागो उसके बाद runner's high will start coming.
Okay. So somebody asked that how can he learn English? How did you learn English? This is something out of other than fitness, but how would you like to answer this question? How they can improve their English?
So until I was in I think second standard, I used to speak only in Hindi, second or third, and my story is a little funny, but the reason I got better at English was because I used to watch Cartoon Network a lot, and at home we didn't have Tata Sky, we had cable. And cable pay you can't change the language. So the cable company decided to change the Cartoon Network to English. And for a month I was just crying all the time कि मेरे को हिंदी में देख. Like I didn't understand English that time properly. And उसके बाद once I started watching English में all my Cartoon Network, all the TV shows, everything English में देखने लग गया. That time my English just improved. And now I only speak in English pretty much.
Yeah, I see that. So yeah, Shubh, that's it. These are the questions that were there. I really enjoyed talking to you. You are a very nice person. You're a very, very good person. I really enjoyed talking to you. So any last message that you would like to give to the people who are watching? Any last message, anything that you want to share with them? Please go ahead. Any last message from your side?
Weight lose करने के लिए you just need calorie deficit. Don't listen to people saying have this pill, have that pill. ये ज्वाइन करो, ये सप्लीमेंट लो, nothing works.
हाँ.
Eat your normal घर का खाना, eat, work out as much as you can, जो करना है, and you will be golden. And sleep well. I'm like a
Yeah.
big sleep advocate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shubh. And thank you so much for accepting my offer or accepting my invitation for this live
Thanks
session.
for
I
calling me. Yeah.
appreciate. Yeah. What?
Thanks for calling me.
No, no, I actually enjoyed it because I knew that you were a very interesting person. You were a very, very, very kind person. You were a very good person because I have been following you from a long time. You don't know that. But thank you so much again. And we'll do this again. And I hope
Definitely.
people who watched it learned something. I'll also share it as my IGTV. Maybe some more people will watch this. Okay. Thank you so much. All the best. And we'll talk soon. Take care.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.